and 18 in simplest radical terms?
Yes.
All right, so the process here is you take the numbers and you multiply them together. And however many numbers there are, you take that root here. So for you, it's just going to be the square root of 180. So you break this apart with using prime numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, and so on. And you just work through this, and you try 2, it works. You try 2 again, it works. 2 doesn't work here, but 3 does. Then you circle pairs. So for each pair, you can bring a number out, 2, 3, and it's the square root of whatever's left over, which is 5. So the 6 square
This
root.
is square root of 5.
Yeah, perfect. And I think you might have even gotten that right the first time around. Okay. Let me see if there's any others like that. Yeah, there is. So let me have you do this one next. And while you're working on this one, I'm gonna just grab some tea here. Can you see this question?
Yes, I can.
All right, I'll be right back. All right, so I'm just gonna jump in here. 8 times 20. It's the square root of 160. Is that what you got?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you take it from here? Do you have a final answer, or?
Still working on it.
Okay, take your time. Let's get through it.
To the square root of 5.
Well, for each 2, you bring one out. So see how there's a pair. So there's a pair, and then there's another pair, and it's the square root of whatever's left over. So the square root of what is left over is 2 times 5.
Yeah, that's 10.
4 square root 10. All right, you got that?
Yes.
Great. So you get to try a couple more here. All right, so here you go. Same deal here.
Okay.
Did you multiply 6 and 24 together?
Yes.
What did you get?
144.
This is a known square root. So sometimes you just know it because you look at squares and square roots reference sheet.
Mhm.
So that's just 12. Remember that squares and square root reference sheet that we looked at?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Because the next one's like it. The next one is pretty much the same deal here. You just set it up, multiply the numbers, and it should work out nicely.
I get 18 as my final answer.
All right, excellent. So we're cruising through this. Now, we did skip a question. And what's this kind of is where this whole thing is leading. Let's see if I can get this in here. So this picture I'm about to snip in, I've got it here. It's actually 3 triangles. There's the small,
Mhm.
You see the small there? It's A to B to C.
Yes.
I'm sorry, A to C to B. There's the medium, which if I go this way, it's A, C, D.
Yes.
And then there's the large. It's kind
Which
of
is
like
the whole thing.
ordering I don't know. I don't know what comes to mind. I guess it's soft drink. Yeah, it's the whole thing. It's B to A to D. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So can you visualize that? Can you see that now?
With the large triangle, it's a little harder, but still, it's I can see it.
Yeah.
So
So now the question, and this is the challenge, is like we're gonna probably use this in the next section, but they're like, hey, which one is it? So we got to kind of go through these one at a time here, see if we can make some sense out of this. Let's just go to the first one. DAB. So that's DAB.
Mhm.
Is that similar to ACB?
No.
Or did I
Well, if it
mislabel
was
this?
D to C to A,
And then is that similar to D to C to A? So the order's got to be right. Like it's DAB, DCA, BCA, or the order, like see how this,
yeah, if it was B to A to D, or
right? And even I'm like sort of like, oh my gosh, these are not really in the right order. Okay, so DAB. I don't think that one's right because then it goes there, there, there. So the little one. So I didn't draw these as well as I could have. I should have. I was trying to make it so that the short leg, the short was on was the short one. So
Mhm.
I kind of have this one backwards. It's actually B. Is the B to C is the short leg. Like this is the short leg here of that one. And that's why it's here. Like this one's probably just a little longer. You want to draw it like that. So DAB, ACB, that's okay. And then DCA. So this first one actually looks pretty good. And if you didn't follow that, that's okay, because I think we get to do another one here. So I'll try and do a better job this time of showing you what's going on.
All right.
And like I said, the next section will be a little more important because we'll actually use these relationships. Okay, so it looks like they start with let me look here, KML. Oh, they start with the small triangle, KNL, no, KML. Okay, so let's draw the triangles here. So the small one is KML. So KML. Do you see that? KML here. The medium one is LMN. LMN. And then the big one, the big mamba jamba. All right. So that's the short leg. You see that? L's
Yes.
there. K. So K to L is the short leg, and then it's reoriented, but you get the idea, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So if you can do all that, and you don't have to do this again in the next section, I believe you end up just using the. Ooh, I didn't like where that was snipped. Oh, you're killing me here. Okay. All right. Well, let's leave that down there where we can see it. So let's look at the first one. It says KML. So KML. So we're
Mhm.
going like short side to long leg. KLN. That's looking okay. And then KMN. Okay, so that one's definitely out. All right, so KNL. KNL. See how it's kind of going that way?
Mhm.
And then what we're looking for is the same direction each time, but then it goes KMN. I don't even know what's going on there. Okay. KML. That one's looking pretty good.
Mhm.
KLN. That's looking pretty good. LMN. That's looking pretty good. So that's it there. All right. No, I want to stay on the page. I want to submit the answers. All right. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. Oh boy, this is tough. Okay. I see. I see what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of pain and suffering in this one. All right, so we're on to the next section. Okay, so it says if IJ, and it's always good to label these things, which I know you can't do because you can't write on your computer. If IJ is 16, that's there. And JK is 9. What is the length of HK? So this is what they want you to find, HK. So you put the thing that you're trying to find in the top left.
Mhm.
Okay. And what is HK? And it's two things. Okay. It's the short leg of the big triangle. Do you see how it's the short leg of the big triangle?
Yeah,
This is the other leg over here. But what is it also?
it's K.
Well, it's also something in this triangle, in the small triangle, right?
Oh,
So what
yes.
is it? What is it in the small triangle?
It is
The hypotenuse.
hypotenuse.
Okay. Do you see how I match these up?
Yes.
So now, do we have this? This is what you're asked. Do we have the hypotenuse of the big triangle? Do we have the hypotenuse of the big triangle? Here's the big triangle.
Yes, we do.
It's 9 plus 16. Small triangle. Do we have the short leg? What's the short leg of this small triangle?
9.
9. All right, go ahead and solve that. I'm going to just step aside, get a little more tea, but
Okay.
you're more than capable of solving this. I'll be right back.
Okay, I have my answer.
All right, do you have a final answer for that?
I do.
So x squared equals 225 and x equals,
112.5.
isn't 9 times 25
Oh,
225?
sorry. I did something wrong. I did 2x instead of x squared. That's where I went wrong.
All right, so you got to take a square root of both sides.
And then it's 15.
Right. And is that what it's asking for? Because it's asking for HK. Is that
Yes.
X? It is. Like sometimes it's not the thing that we want it to be. Okay. So this this setup here is very important. I'll do it slightly differently this time to help here, but we want, okay, if TW, let me get some more room here. Okay. So if TW, that's this right here, is 12, and VW is 8, okay, what is the length of UW? So UW is over here. We'll call that X.
Mhm.
All right. So you got to be careful here. Like what is X? X is the long leg of the medium triangle. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. The medium triangle also has this short leg given.
Mhm.
And then the small triangle has this short leg and this long leg. So you can make your let's go medium triangle here this time. And that's X. And what is X on the medium triangle? Is it the short leg or the long leg?
It's long leg.
long leg. Okay. Now, in the small triangle, what is the long leg? See how we're matching up your long leg of the small triangle?
12 plus 8.
Well, no, it can't be both. The long
Oh,
leg is
oh, that's 12. Sorry.
just 12. Okay. Now, in the short leg, what is the short leg of the medium triangle? Here's the medium triangle. The short leg is
That would be 12.
12. So sometimes you reuse the values. Do we have the short leg of the small triangle?
Yes, we do.
It's 8. Okay, so go ahead and solve this, please.
My final answer is 18.
Very good. Okay, so we got one more of these. I won't go so far as to say that these are fun, but when you see how to set them up, they're much more understandable. So again, you gotta label the given information. So this time they're giving you DA. DA is 6.
Mhm.
MD is 4, and they want the length of DK.
DK.
So it's actually the exact same problem we just did with different numbers. So why don't you give this one a try, please? And I can scroll up if you need me to, but
Okay, my final answer is 9.
all right, very good. So not too difficult.
Nope.
Okay, so the next problem, don't know yet if it's difficult or not. It's the same setup, the same, 3 triangles. So we'll see what we got. All right, let me get this snipped in. So RS over here is 18.
Mhm.
QR is 6, and they want P to S. So we'll call that X. Okay, so this time, do you see that we have quantities like 6 goes with the small triangle, but if you were to add these together, 6 and 18, what would you have?
24.
24, and that's with the large triangle. So it looks like you've got stuff going for the, oh, how did I do this in the last problem? Yeah, okay. Medium triangle, and then the large triangle. And we just got to figure out like what is it that you have here. So on the medium triangle, X is the hypotenuse. Do you see that?
Yes.
Do you have the hypotenuse of the large triangle?
24.
24. Okay. Now, what else do you have on the medium triangle? Do you have a short leg or a long leg? This is the medium triangle here.
I have a long leg.
A long leg, 18. Do you have a long leg of the
Large
large
triangle.
triangle? Yeah.
18. Oh, well, actually, no.
See the large triangle here, the long leg is X.
Mhm.
That's why it's X here. Do you see that?
Yes.
It's both the hypotenuse, the medium triangle, and the long leg. Okay, so you're going to solve this by diagonally multiplying. Let me know what you get for a final answer here on this one. You're going to get X squared equals what, 240 plus 8 times 24.
432.
Yeah, so you got to take the square root of that, and it's not nice, I don't believe. You could check.
No, it's not.
Yep. So you gotta break it apart here.
So I get 12 and square root of 3.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. Yeah. So this next one is from a difficulty standpoint, I think these are great, but from a learning standpoint, they're pretty challenging because they're symbolic. And I've learned anything from working with students. It's that symbolic problems. They're just a little tougher. So um, let's look at let's see what xz is. So xz is this right here. So we're going to call that x right there,
Mhm.
right? And then wz, where's wz? Wz right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to call that y for the moment. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we kind of already did this. Kind of didn't. So let me just set it up here. So let's go small triangle. Okay. And we're going to put x here. So in the small triangle, what is x? Is it the short leg or is it the long leg?
It is a short leg.
It's the long leg.
Oh.
Do you see how this leg is longer than this leg?
Yes.
Like if your legs, one leg was this long and the other leg was this long, you might lean to one side or the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is x also in the medium triangle?
It's also the long leg.
This is the medium triangle right here.
Oh. It's also x.
Well, it is, but what is this side in the medium triangle?
Uh.
There's two legs. Like you have two legs.
Oh, the small leg.
Short leg. Yeah. So that's x. So that's how they get xz squared, because they do x times x. Okay. All right. Now, in the medium triangle, what is the long leg?
It's y.
In the medium triangle. This is the medium triangle. We don't have it yet, right?
Yeah, we don't. So that's
okay. Let's call it z. So z is there and y is there. So x squared equals z times y. I know this is confusing, but x is really xz and z is really zy. This is really zy. And this y right here is zw. You follow that? Kind of.
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay. So in short, the answer is zy, but or yz, but maybe it was clear, maybe it wasn't. So similarly, this is just the like reverse of it.
Mhm.
So we're not even gonna go through it. Plus, it's confusing as I'll get out. I don't know how they expect you guys as students to know that. So, all right. How are you doing on this? Getting it down, you think?
Yeah, just trying to get everything down.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna look at one more lesson tonight. Uh-oh. Oh, it wants me to download something. I don't want to do that. All right. So let's see here. It's amazing how much stuff you've done in this class. All right. Yeah, so trigonometric ratios. Yeah, let's do that. Right. So we're gonna get a reference sheet going for tonight. At least one. We'll see. Let me see how many they give you here. Cosine. Oh, that just one of them. Okay. Well, never mind. They make these they're making they're not doing this sort of the traditional way. So we'll just go through it together. All right, it says use a special right triangle to write cosine 30 as a fraction. So here is your special right triangle. What the way I do it, which I guess isn't all that great, but let's do it this way. So here's your special right triangle.
Mhm.
Okay, this is 30 degrees, this is 90, and this is 60 degrees. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So if this is 1, if this side length is 1, the hypotenuse in this what's called a 30, 60, 90 triangle is double the short leg. So that's 2. And the left side here, the long leg, it's this side times the square root of 3. Okay. So there are a number of trig functions that you're going to learn about. Cosine of an angle, in this case 30 degrees,
Mhm.
is the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse.
All right.
So here's 30. Okay. Do you see how the square root of 3 is adjacent to it? Adjacent means next to.
Yes.
The hypotenuse is also next to it, but the hypotenuse is not a leg. So it's the adjacent leg, which is square root of 3, over the hypotenuse, which is, what's the hypotenuse?
Hypotenuse is 2.
2. Okay, and these are used all the time in math, higher up math. Okay. All right, so maybe that was clear, maybe it wasn't. I don't really decide how your class is organized, but we're going to use cosine again here, but we're going to have a slightly different triangle. So cosine of A, and see how A is the angle there? There's
Yes.
the angle right there, is the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. So here's A. Is 13 adjacent or is 6.4 adjacent?
Wouldn't it be 6.4?
Well, let's say you're sitting here and you want someone to sit adjacent to you or next to you. Do they sit here or do they sit across from you?
They wouldn't sit across from you. They would just sit there.
Great. So 13 is the adjacent. Do you follow that?
Yes.
So if you're here, now let's say you're up here at C, what's adjacent to C? Is it 6.4 or is it 13?
It would be 6.4.
Because it's next to, okay? And it
Yes.
can't be the hypotenuse because the hypotenuse is used in this, it's 14.5. All right, so grab your calculator. You said you got it. What is 13 over 4? Well, actually, we don't even need that. It doesn't do that. Let me see if there's any more cosine problems. There are not. There are no more cosine problems. Okay. All right. So there's other trigonometric functions. There's actually 6. Yes, you need to learn them all. Okay. Identify sine J as a fraction. So it's not sin, it's sine. It's read, it's pronounced sine. It's written sin. Okay. So sine J this time is opposite. It's the opposite leg over the hypotenuse. So here's J. And let's say you want someone to sit opposite from you. Where are they going to sit?
They're gonna 3.
They're going to be 3. They're going to be over there at 3. And which is the hypotenuse?
That would be 7. That would be 7.8.
7.8. It's always the biggest one. So that's sine J. Do you follow that? Sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse.
Yes.
Okay. And cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse.
Yes.
Okay. And that's just the way it is. Someone said, look, this is the way it's going to be. And you're like, okay, this is the way it's going to be. So had someone asking me why, and I'm like, I don't know. We don't know why. Somebody just decided. So we follow the rules. All right. Try this one on your own. Sine Y is opposite over hypotenuse. So take a look at that and tell me your final answer whenever you're ready. No rush here. Take as much time as you need.
7.4 over 10.9.
That's correct. Okay, so there's yet another trigonometric function that we're going to look at next. And what I think is maybe unclear for students is that you say the correct word. Like in this case, you say tangent, but it's written as tan.
It's abbreviated.
Right?
So.
Right, it's abbreviated. So you don't say cos. You say
tan.
You say cosine.
Oh, cosine.
You don't say sin. You say sine.
Sine. Yeah.
You don't say tan. You say tangent.
Tangent.
Okay. And people do this, but it's good to get in the habit of because you want to sound. You're not in a classroom to hear this, but you want to say the right thing. So tangent of P, you got to identify P again. It is opposite over adjacent. So what's opposite to P and what's adjacent to P?
So opposite of P would be 8.5, but the adjacent of P would be 16.
Very good. All right, so last problem here. We actually can scroll up to do this. Okay. We're gonna look at this triangle again, and we're gonna do the tangent of 60 degrees. So tangent is still opposite over adjacent. So here's 60 degrees. So what's opposite of 60 degrees?
That would be the square root of 3.
And what's adjacent to 60 degrees?
That would be 2.
2 is the hypotenuse.
Oh, sorry. 1. Sorry.
1. All right. It's kind of like when you're driving your RC cars and like someone tells you to go left and instead you go right. That's kind of what happens when you give me 2. Like it's completely wrong. That's how like serious it is to give the wrong side, whether it's, and it changes, right? Like if we're
Yeah.
talking about 30, adjacent is now square root of 3 and opposite is 1, but hypotenuse is always the hypotenuse, whatever it is. All right, so good news is we got done with 3 lessons today. And I think that we talked about you doing a couple of more lessons on your own today. I don't know if that's already happened or not, but that does take us to the end of our lesson today. Thank you so much for scheduling, and I'll see you next time.
All right.
Have a great day. Bye now.
Bye.